Hi viewers, there is no story more inspiring like a transformational story. There is no story that touches the needs of an audience like stories of hope, resilience, and inspiration. Therefore, as the host of this program, it is my duty to bring you conversations that shift the culture of silence. This is Green Pastures, a show that aims to give people hope and to motivate them. And I am your host, Daisy Atino. You can follow us on all social media platforms at GBS TV Africa, and you can also text us at 21144. Welcome to the show. Today in studio, I have an amazing guest. His name is Mr. Salif Nyambok, and I will allow him to introduce himself. Salif.
Hello viewers, my name is Salif Nyambok. I'm a third-year journalism broadcast student at USIU. I'm also a radio presenter on USIU Radio and a recording artist.
Thank you for that introduction, Salif.
Yeah.
You title your story, I Am Rispa's Son. Could you just take us back to the very beginning and just let us know, for example, how did you grow up?
Wow, it's actually good that you've asked that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I say that because I was raised by my mom.
Okay.
So my childhood, I grew up sort of middle class.
Okay.
My mother worked in advertising.
Okay.
And I think for as long as I can remember, I remember living with her. We stayed in an apartment in an estate called Villa Franca, somewhere along Mombasa Road. And I would say I lived well.
Yeah.
Reason being, my mom had a passion for me to really study and study well.
Yeah.
So she labored herself to take me to a good school. So I
Okay.
went to Riara for my primary education.
Okay.
And you know, people hear that and they assume that, hey, she must have been like a big shot
A rich
to take me
person,
to
yeah.
that school.
But it was
No,
a sacrifice.
it was a sacrifice.
Yeah.
And I came to realize that like way later on in life.
Yeah.
But that was more or less how I was growing up.
Yeah.
I didn't lack because I was an only child.
Okay.
And it just so happened that my mother kept on going up
Oh, yeah.
the corporate ladder as I was growing up. So things got better. We were in an apartment. Suddenly
Yeah.
you got like what, DSTV,
Yeah.
then you get what, then as you go on,
Yeah.
yeah, you keep living good. I would do quite well in school still.
Also, you were a bright student.
Yes.
Or were you just putting effort?
I think I understood from a very early age that my mother was sacrificing for me to be in school.
Yeah.
And I think it would become like apparent when I was in certain situations, like I couldn't do stuff that other kids could do
Yeah.
while in that school. You'd
Yeah.
hear that there's a trip to Dubai or a trip to Egypt.
Yeah.
And other kids would go.
Yeah.
But I couldn't even ask my mom for that because
Yeah.
I knew that, no, this is a tricky one.
Yeah.
So I understood earlier on.
Yeah.
So I felt like the only way I could give back was to try and just do my best in school.
Yeah.
Plus, yeah.
What would you say your experience being an only child to a single parent was like?
Wow, it's a bit of both worlds.
Okay.
I remember at times I liked it.
Yeah.
I liked the attention. I liked the fact that like if I could ask for something,
Yeah.
I wouldn't have to go through so much stress
Yeah,
like
yeah.
to actually get what it is that I wanted. Yeah?
Yeah.
But to some extent it was also a bit lonely.
Yeah.
So I remember one time I asked my mom, can I get a sister?
Yeah.
And she was like, after what I went through with you,
Yeah. No way.
never again, never again.
Yeah.
So I think it influenced my personality.
Yeah.
So I tend to make more friends I tend to view my friends as my siblings to some extent
okay.
at this point, yeah.
Yeah. But something that's interesting to be an only child and to have a single parent. At what age or at what stage did you start not seeing your father around?
So my mom and dad had separated long before that's what I was saying, for as long as I can remember. I remember living with my mom.
Yeah.
I can even remember the day we moved into the house, but I don't remember much because they separated before, like when I was 4 years old.
Yeah.
So during that time, I used to see my dad
Yeah.
I think every December.
Yeah.
The way you can go home up country for Christmas. I don't know if that's even a popular thing these days, but yeah, it used to be a thing.
Yeah.
But the last time I did that, I was probably 8 years old.
Oh, okay.
So after that period of me being 8, when I turned 10, I went to see him in Uganda
Okay.
for the first time. So I would say that at that time, at least, we used to talk.
You used to talk a
We used to
bit.
talk. I was aware that, and that, strangely enough, at that time, when you hear Uganda, any country that's outside Kenya probably looks like, what you view in in the movies.
In the movies,
So
yeah.
me, I thought Uganda was like states.
Oh, okay.
Like I'm hearing all these things, and then my dad would like sell it. I was like,
Yeah, I have to go there.
"Hey, Dad, can I get a PS2?" It's like, "Yes, yes, yes. I'll even mail it." I'm like,
Yeah.
"Okay, cool." I'm like,
Yeah.
"Okay."
Yeah.
So I think that was more or less. So I knew he was around.
Okay, but
Yeah.
but you didn't live with him.
No,
And did you feel his absence in your life, or it didn't matter because your mom was there for you?
I think this came later.
Okay.
So, like after I went to see him in Uganda the first time, first of all, it became very apparent that he was living a very different life
Yeah.
than the way we were living in Kenya.
Yeah.
At the time, it's almost like the dominoes were like this.
Yeah.
So you'd find like we were living in an apartment, a 2-bedroom apartment.
Yeah.
It was me, my mom, our nanny Jane, and one of my mom's sisters.
Okay.
We didn't have much.
Yeah.
It was a very simple setup. But when I went to Uganda, it was an opposite world. Yeah, my dad had compound. It
Oh,
had
like a
people,
house.
like workers.
Yeah.
There were many vehicles, and I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
I want to stay. Like when you're a little kid,
Yeah.
I think that's what hits you.
Yeah.
So when I got back, I think throughout primary, I could say that things were good. But at some point, as I progressed through primary, like in my later years, class
Yeah.
7, class 8, the communication started becoming weaker.
Again, yeah.
And then at some point now, I ended up, now once I finished class 8, it just completely like died off completely.
You just stopped hearing from him in terms of
Yeah.
even the phone calls through your mom's phone.
I wouldn't get phone calls. And there's an incident that happened like sometime earlier.
Yeah.
And I guess maybe this is what made me step back as a little kid.
Yeah.
It's more like I used to say that my dad would promise and sometimes overpromise things.
Oh, yeah.
And the thing is, I guess at some point I realized that I don't want this to keep on happening to me as a little kid.
The disappointment.
Yeah. And I went through like one which was so major.
Okay.
Like when I was in class 7, I think it made me miss out on something that my mom would have done for me.
Yeah.
It was about a trip.
Okay.
Remember the trips I was telling you about?
Yeah, yeah, Dubai, Egypt, all of that, yeah.
So, yeah, I know. It's something as simple as that. But at the time, I remember being a teenager and being told that, hey, you can go.
Yeah.
You go through everything, and then all of a sudden on the last day, no, you can't go. And then the one that you could have gone for, you missed out on because
were
I
focused
decided to
on-
trust.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I took that pretty hard when I was
Yeah.
a kid.
Yeah.
I took that pretty hard.
Yeah.
But there was no bad blood. I'd still talk. But I think after class 8, now through high school,
Yeah.
we just drifted apart. And as it happened, that's the time now my mom moved up in career.
Yeah.
So I went to a better school, better life.
Would you
yeah.
say maybe the cause for the distance in high school was because you were becoming like a young adult and you were able to see through him a bit?
Oh, yeah.
It was less about the gifts and the promises, and now you're like, but no, I have to hold him accountable.
Oh, yeah. I think it's that. I told you I was a kid who was very aware
Yeah.
of the situation that my parents were in.
Yeah.
So the questions I was asking myself at this time were, in my head,
Yeah.
one, is it okay? Like, I'm seeing mom struggle like this, but the other side, I know it's like this.
Yeah.
Why is that happening?
Yeah.
Why is it that we go long periods without hearing from
Him.
my old man?
Oh,
And
yeah.
then, yeah.
Okay.
Then, I would hear stuff like I have other siblings, but
Yeah.
I wouldn't, on the other side now in Uganda, but I didn't know, we didn't spend time.
Yeah.
Or I would not get that experience of, hey, can we have a video? Oh, okay, there were no
Yeah.
video calls, but can you have a...
Yeah, but yeah.
But
Yeah.
you understand what I'm talking about, yeah?
Yeah.
So I guess that's kind of where we were coming from.
Okay. And so how was life like in high school now?
Now in high school, Hey, well, I think, would you believe if I told you I was a rapper?
Okay.
So high school is me, I always say sometimes it's probably at my best.
Yeah.
So I've moved up.
Yeah.
Suddenly I have
Which high school was that?
so I went to Light.
Oh, late.
Yeah.
Okay.
So in Light Academy, I got a chance to interact with very good people,
Yeah.
kids from really, really wealthy homes.
Yeah.
At this point, my mom was also a media director
Oh, okay.
at Transcend Media Group.
Okay.
So she was also experiencing the same thing on her side.
She was moving up
And let me tell you, it was a good time for me.
Yeah.
The only thing is now, as I became more aware of it,
Yeah.
I was really a fan of hip hop, yeah?
Yeah.
And this theme seems to be so dominant in hip hop.
Yeah.
You listen to enough of Tupac and Eminem, you'll start asking questions. So it made the divide go like this.
Okay.
And I think the rationale I was having at the time is that, okay, I mean, he's not in my life. I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm still living a good life. I'm still
Yeah.
trying. But inside, though, I realized I was trying to mask off certain things.
Yeah.
The fact that, you know, it's almost like I was trying to act like I did not need him in my life.
Yeah.
And the reality is I actually did.
Yeah.
There was no one to show me how to become like a young man,
Yeah.
especially because I was an only child.
Yeah.
Other than the banter that I'd have with my friends here and there.
But yeah.
Yeah, I
That
didn't.
absence, yeah, when you got to high school, you could feel it a bit.
I could feel it, and probably this is the reason why I had a very different take on things. I think some guys during high school tried out some relationships.
Yeah.
I was more reserved.
Yeah.
But I would actually meet, I'd be very social with people. I had many friends.
Yeah.
But when it came to certain aspects, I would not want to engage further because I honestly felt like I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah.
So I think it's those dynamics.
Yeah. But you did not go through, let's say, bullying and
Oh, wow.
you know.
I don't want to say I went through bullying. I was bullied like for a term.
Oh, okay, just the term.
And it's just like two incidences. You know, I think it's because of the personality I have.
Yeah.
I was very outgoing from get-go.
Okay.
So there's
By
that-
outgoing,
yeah.
you mean what? Confident, you're bold.
Yeah, confident.
You have no problem approaching people and talking to
Bingo.
them. Okay.
I didn't feel, you know,
Yeah, afraid to to
yeah.
express yourself.
I just used to be, just the way I used to talk.
Yeah.
If there were competitions, artistic stuff, I really
yeah.
loved the arts. I love music,
Yeah.
love dancing. So if there
Yeah.
were things like dance competition, music competition, I'd always come up.
Yeah.
And because I told you I used to rap, quote
Yeah.
unquote rap, in high school,
Yeah.
any chance I got to do that, I would. Even if
Okay.
I didn't know what I was doing. That's when I was
You were
starting
that
out, so I was not like good. And
Wow.
yeah, so those guys were like, hey, Kwani, this guy.
Yeah.
Then they'd take me into a room and be like, Zimata, pa, 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 pa.
What?
A few of those.
Just because you were confident enough to go on stage?
But oddly enough, when that was happening to me, they'd end up getting so jazzed
Yeah.
that, you know, I don't know how. We just ended up becoming friends.
Well, we are going to take a short break. In studio today, we have Mr. Salif Nyambok, and he is talking to us about his story. But just before we go on a break, I would like to remind you that you can follow us on all social media platforms at GBS TV Africa. Once again, this is Green Pastures. We'll be going for a break, and we'll return shortly.